Triage, Matt, HFR from the floor, mistrade, Matt Davio. We're in the road whites today for Manja, the Manja Nation, proudly wearing the road whites. Matt, I did not know. When I put the road whites on, in my head, I said wearing the home whites, because when I grew up, that's what it was. The Blackhawks only wore white, and I know you said the Red Wings wore white at home. And then in 2003-04, and who knows why? Why did they flip it? They flipped it that your white uniform was for the road.
Yeah.
Interesting little.
I didn't know it was even that long ago. It still feels weird when I see them in red. I'm like, they're away. Wait, they're in. I see Detroit advertisers. Like, what's going on? It's strange.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess we're road whites today. Road whites, the Manja softball league team. Soon coming to a local sports field near you. Reach out and we will sponsor one in every city in the country. We don't tell you what that sponsorship is, but we will for sure sponsor. Might just be a visor, who knows? Matt, this just in, you shared this. Well, first of all, let me preface it with this. We're going to get to price discovery, but give me some leeway here for a second, because the world is upside down. This was a great share from Vice. They had like a town hall meeting, and you can't hear it, but this young Asian man, this guy here is very well articulating the fact that the Asian community is more successful than other communities because they have, the nuclear family. A lot of times with the grandma in the house, they really push for education and bettering yourself, and it results in outcomes. And everybody is completely offended by this tack that there has to be some reason why they do.
Well, again, they're all coming from broken families, so that's why they're all
I mean, and they're horrified that he would say something like this.
Right.
And then you shared in the network that this in Baltimore, not one student was proficient in math in 23 in Baltimore schools. That is staggering. And my comment was, are there no Asian families in Baltimore? Because you would think there'd be one.
Listen, I have a friend that moved from Iowa as a school teacher to Tucson as a school teacher, and he teaches high school, kind of, like algebra, geometry, algebra 2 type stuff, 9th, 10th, and 11th grade math typically. And he says in Tucson, nobody can pass 5th grade math in his high school. That's what he's dealing with. So you have this system, right? You have this public system that, pretends like it's a that grades matter, and then they just give everybody grades so they can get their little bonus at the end of the year. They don't give a shit.
Yeah, it's staggering.
Instead of failing, the kids that are falling behind should be left behind. Like, what happened? That is the
left behind. All right, let me get to something else.
Well, it's not. Listen, they can learn it, Bob. You know it as well as I do.
Of course I do. And here's another.
Anybody can learn math. It's not a male thing versus female. It's not Asian versus white. It's not black versus Chinese. It is freaking focus. Get off TikTok. Get off Netflix. Stop eating shitty food, so you have to take diabetic medicine. I can't stand these narratives. Joe Biden, I'm reducing your insulin costs. Why not talk about being healthy?
Why you're on it. Exactly.
Why not talk about the problem?
Dan Maraza shared this little tidbit, and it's amazing how things you shared. And I don't know why you shared the rookie card for Mike Ditka.
Just because I know you love the Bears,
right? So you shared that, and I was like, what is Dick in the news or something? So it was just that. It's like, this guy likes the Bears. Here's Ditka's rookie card. Anyway, that led me down this little thing, because the NFL has released their Hall of Fame. Speaking about not settling for the status quo, you don't make it to the Hall of Fame because you settle, right? You work your ass off. But this I find amazing. And he's saying, Dan is saying, what's generally amazing is that Aliquippa, Pennsylvania has fewer than 10,000 residents, yet now it has 4 members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame: Ditka, Tony Dorsett, Ty Law, and now Darrell Revis. And also, by the way, Pistol Pete Maravich also. I don't know what's in the water in Aliquippa, Pennsylvania, but
well, it's steel fragments.
these guys are unreal.
It's steel fragments.
Congratulations to the new inductees of the Hall of Fame, and here they are. Just so
And of course, one of those guys is a Michigan guy. So
we spread out the love. Here they are, the inductees: Rondé Barber, or Don Coryell. How did it take this long to get him?
Right.
Air Coryell. I mean, he changed the NFL. The dude was like, just throw the ball. That's what we do. Yeah. Chuck Howley, defensive tackle Joe Klecko, cornerback Darrell Revis, cornerback Ken Riley, left tackle Joe Thomas, linebacker Zach Thomas, and outside linebacker DeMarcus Ware. Congratulations to all of them.
Wasn't Zach Thomas another one of your Bear friendly ML?
No, I thought he was a Cowboy. DeMarcus Ware was a Cowboy for sure.
Yeah, but I thought Zach Thomas was. I don't know. I thought he was.
I don't know. Again, like I go through these.
You're the Bear fan.
I go through these things where it's like, where was I? Because I don't remember that guy's name, and he was going into the Hall of Fame. So it must have been several years where I wasn't paying attention.
Those kid years,
right?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get to the Super Bowl, and we're talking novelty bets today. Coin toss. What do you got? I find this amazing. Like, we're chart guys, right? Right. They say it's meaningless. Tails is 29-27 all time, but heads has won 4 of the last 5 years. Like, if you don't pile on the tails this year, you know, that's the top of the profile, right? 4 out of 5 years being heads. It's got to be the top of the profile. Yet, if you're a trend player, you don't fade the trend. So I'm going tails, Matt.
Yeah, tails never fails.
Tails, that's what he says too. In the article, is you get to say that tails never fails.
Exactly.
One of the ones that I thought was ridiculous was where was
Zach
it?
Thomas, by the way, Miami Dolphins, pretty much his whole career.
Zach Thomas, that's right. Now I'm remembering it.
Yeah.
It's yes is paying 110 for a 2-point conversion. What was the one that I think it's the last 2 minutes of the game. There we go. No, I forget. Final drive ends in a punt, and it does not cross midfield. Yeah, I mean, who thinks of this? Who comes up with this prop bet?
These are like the prop bets you and I would have for golf.
I would have to be ripping tubes to come up with that one. How about this one? Jersey number of first touchdown scorer is odd or even. Odd is -160. Must be way more positive, even number scorers there available, or odd number scorer available, right? Because you're laying the odds.
Well, because 7 and 3 are the
no the number of the jersey number.
Oh.
-160 on the. How about this one? Shortest touchdown yardage in game under 1.5, -1. Like, somebody's going to have just a quarterback sneak, and you got to lay the odds.
A 1-yarder, sure. I guess it could happen.
What they're saying is, no, I think. Here's where you know when you shouldn't be doing prop bets, when you don't even understand the prop bet.
Yeah.
Anyway. We talked prop bets in the Super Bowl, but Matt, we're on the way in. We're kind of talking prop bets in the trading world. Let's talk Tesla, and then the Tesla with money against money ETF. And there's a little bit of a nuance here that we want to share that we figured out. We figured. Well,
I wouldn't say figured out. I just, again, I'm not a big stock trader, but I saw that I didn't know that there was an ETF, an inverse ETF. There's probably an inverse ETF also, but it's a bearish ETF that you buy for Tesla, and it's the inverse of, so you want it to go up when Tesla goes down, right?
Yes, that would be the inverse.
So let's just take a look at Tesla, just to kind of, show this to people. But if you were, if you were trading Tesla, 100 shares of it cost you whatever, 30 grand. You need 30 grand in your account because it's usually 1.5, right? The margin typically for retail. So 100 times 200 is 20 grand plus another 10, 30, we'll call it 35 grand. You need to trade 100 shares of Tesla. That's not, again, that's for a lot of small players. That's a lot of dough. But there is a Tesla Bear Daily ETF. And the thing about ETFs is, as you pointed out, which again, I don't trade them because I trade futures, but you don't need an uptick to sell QQQ, SPY, so you can hit the bid. That's the thing.
Which is key.
Which is key.
Yeah.
So if this 42, which happened at 7:30 yesterday, I just want to match this up to Tesla so we can compare this. The high yesterday was at 7:27. So it's pretty much right on the same time, right? So if you sold Tesla at 214 and then you bought it down here at 195, you got yourself a 10% move in the stock, and you sold 100 shares, right? 100 shares at 30 grand got you about what did it get you? 2 grand. 2 grand for selling 100 shares. Nice little trade there, by the way. Now, if you took the ETF at the same time and with that bought $30,000 worth of, which would be about 750 shares. Well, let's just call it 800 shares. You bought 800 shares at the perfect bottom, 42.50, and then you sold it when it pinged the point of control at 47. Kind of the same thing with Tesla. So you got yourself $4.50, and 4.5 times 800 is 3,200, a little bit more, right? So this pays a little bit more by using the same capital because you have to use more capital to sell short as a retail typically. So you're going to make about 2 grand, and this is going to pay you almost double because of the fact that this is it's a bearish ETF. So it's almost double using the same amount of capital. Point that out because it's not a bad way of looking at things. If you want, using the same capital. The same move got you paid more in the ETF than it did in the underlying.
And just to be clear, your ass is going to lose more also.
Correct.
So
that's correct.
Just leverage always cuts both ways.
That's right.
So let's not forget that.
If you feel you're a good trader, this is the way to get yourself again more upside and more downside.
That's what we look for. That's all we look for. More upside and more downside. Matt, there was a thread in Twitter today with myself and some old traders and reminiscing about the pit, and actually Double Wide started it, talking about how it's Friday and you don't need to risk your week. In fact, There's nothing worse than trading on a Friday and blowing.
Yeah, this time of day is just garbage for me. I mean, especially listen, these ODTE end of day options are really crushing the volatility right now because everybody's trading them. There's so many strikes that I think it's really compressing the price action when it comes to the SPY.
Right on.
I think that is, and this too shall pass, but I think you have to understand that. And that is why I still think the NASDAQ is the preferred vehicle, because it's not as widely traded on those end of the day options.
All right. We want, for me, especially as we go to the close of the week, the close of the day, close of the week, the bonds in particular are setting up much weaker than they have been. All right, by my work that I cannot share, but I will share this, that the bonds have not closed in lower momentum on the daily since the 9th of November of 22. Let me say that again. The bonds have not closed in lower momentum on the daily since the 9th of November 22. And they're going to do that unless they can recapture by the end of the day 127.15, which they could. It's 127.01 last. but that's a long time to
Well,
have,
they have an hour to the close.
right, but that's a long time to have been out of lower momentum by my definition.
Mhm.
And I have to take note of that. I have to take note of that as a standard deviation trader. This has changed. This market has changed. The structure in my standard deviation analysis has changed. The dollar has not quite recaptured up momentum, but it's for sure looks stronger to me. And the stock market for me is just, and we've said it, it's just kind of in this sideways. I really think that the bonds need to make a serious move in order for a serious move in the stock market to, and I think that's the dog and the stock market's the tail right now. Anyway,
So let me bring up the bonds, ZB being the big daddy, and then we'll look at the UB, which is again a levered product. 126, again, pretty much just right at the lows here, but the lows for the year was where we opened at 124.12, right? So again, not really telling me that we're going to the end of the world. I love to sell them up here at 133. I'm taking them off down here just because I think the move's kind of getting late. So I'm not super bearish, and I'm definitely not buying here either. We could go lower. And the UB, let's take a look at it. Same thing, sitting at the lows of the day. So neither one is suggesting that we're done necessarily going down. But if you were selling these at 146 or 133 at those levels, you got to, don't be a pig. We're at the bottom of the value zone for the year. That's all I'm saying.
right on.
So this and neither of them are telling me that we're going to new lows, right? Because that's much lower still. 138 and 133 was the low of the year in the UB. You pull back a little bit and you got 123. So actually, this is somewhat bullish, right? You start looking at this, you're like, well, we're kind of, we're right there. We're kind of right there.
And this is exactly why.
And really bullish on the UB down to like 133 until you take out that next low, because we're just making higher lows here, right? And we didn't make higher highs. We topped here this first time. So, but that's also this key level that we broke down from. That 146 is going to be hard. But if we get through that, this thing, we could go much higher in the bond. So just be aware, these are the key levels, and they're battling at 146, and they're battling it right now for me, kind of 133, 146. We have been in that since November. So you've been in that for 4 months. On the ZB, just to pull back and give you a similar time frame, and depending on what time frame you want to trade, right? Again, are you a day trader, or are you looking at a 6 month and 1 year chart? If you are looking at longer term charts, you're going to get a lot different entries than you will on a day trade. And this is one, call it 133, which we banged up against it 3 or 4 times already. And then 124 is kind of that level there. And again, similar charts, right? You're not seeing, this is not super bearish. I mean, I'm just going to draw the trend line to where we are right now, because if we went through that one, the second line, we're bearish, right? But we haven't taken out that 124 either. So it's kind of tricky. And again, you can pick any 2 points and draw a trend line. That's why I don't use trend lines. But this profile, we're now, going back a year on this chart, we're below the value. We've been in the value a bunch of times since November again, but they can't get above that next level. So you can't really be too bullish on these things. You got to wait for lower, maybe test 124 again, or a breakout of 123, or excuse me, 133 to the upside.
And that's why they call it trading.
Yeah.
That's why they call it trading.
And yeah, the dollar made a high earlier in the week, almost approaching, it got up to 104, Bob, but it hasn't continued this week, right? And where are we going to close on it? I haven't, today it was like 103.50. Yeah, we're still there. 103.50. And let me bring that up. And I'll bring up a shorter term just to start there. But again, not particularly bearish after making a low earlier in the week, at the end of last week. And now, again, if they get back above 104, this thing's going to go test this old high, 105.50. And we're at the top of value again. So we banged up against it the first time. It's the second, this is the way markets move. They bang up against it until they bust through it, right? They got to work through all the sellers of that level before they can go higher. And right now the sellers are still kind of owning that top end. But the buyers came in and bought this breakout zone the second day of that breakout, where they rebought it again, yesterday in the morning. So that's continued back up and is going to test that next high.
Right on. Yeah, for me, a longer term bull story, they have to at least change the slope of the standard deviation modeling, and they haven't done that yet. They're obviously getting closer to it. And Mark asked about the euro, the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I was short the euro 109s, 110. So nothing new there. The euro will go down as the dollar goes up. All you got
for me, Mark, the euro in particular, you need to get them down, close below 106. I'm going to call this week 42. And if we can do that, if we can get a close below 106.42, we're going to change the slope of the standard deviation modeling, and then we're in a downtrend. And until you can change the slope, I'm a slave to the slope, baby. You got to be a slave to something, and that's what I am. So it takes time it takes time to change the slope of the modeling. Obviously, time bracket or whatever time, what do they call it, man? The
fractal.
The time fractal that you're looking at. Exactly. So a weekly takes obviously a lot longer to change that slope than a daily. And as you move down to the 13-minute, Matt, as low as I look, the 13-minute.
I want to bring up, since I talked about it earlier in the week, and my gratitude towards the chasers of altcoins and Bitcoin. I thank you once again for playing, because we talked about this 133 up to 301 and MicroStrategy's down to 244 again, off 20% already. You want to chase this stuff, better know your levels. Same with Coinbase. Loved selling it at 85, got up to 87, is back to 57 today. Take your
there's a
profits. Next level down. Next level, we will see 10,000. We will see 3,300 on Bitcoin, no doubt in my mind. So I'll continue to. I've been saying those numbers for 2 years, and I'll continue to hammer them. We're not going higher. I'm sorry. There's nothing that's going to take the shit higher. Nothing. Especially when, UK came out with their own altcoin this week, and they're pushing and pushing and pushing. So there's no doubt CBDC is going to happen in some of these weaker countries. There's no doubt about it, because they're broke. They have to play the cards that they're dealt, which is they're broke.
All right.
But that doesn't mean good things for Bitcoin either. That's the point.
Well, there is no doubt that there's a.
They're not going to use Bitcoin for their.
You know what? Can I get a fucking word in? How about I get a word in? Thank you. There is a giant battle that is not going away anytime soon. And the SEC showed their cards yesterday. We don't want to give you the framework. We're just going to let you try to do something. And then we're going to tell you that you can't do that, and we're going to fine you. There is a battle royale going on, and you might be right. I mean, the legacy, they've been at it for 150 years. The central banks of the world, the fiat currencies of the world, they're not going to give it up without a fight. So, but yesterday's SEC fine of Kraken is a perfect example. We don't want to make anything clear that you can work off of, but keep building things, and then we'll, fine you and tell you can't do that. Thank you very little. Anyway, that fight will continue. And if you want to fast forward yourselves to economic slavery, let's all adopt a central bank digital currency that they get to program and shut down at will when you fart too many times, because now you've exceeded your global climate change initiative emission. Good luck with that. Anyway, that's where the fight is, though. Honest to God, that is where the fight is. That's where it started. It started in 08. And you've said yourself, Matt, since 08, all they have done is kick the can down the road. They have not addressed the problem. That too big to fail is here to stay. Thank you for playing. Anyway, that's what I got. What else? Anything else?
Since Lee likes to talk about uranium, I thought I'd bring up his favorite stock again, CCG, CCJ. And if you're not taking profits, we almost hit 30 on this thing. from December
Another one of the great
21 to 30. So every time it, and again, it's just sine waving 30, 20, 30, 20, 30, 20, 30, 20. That's how this thing trades.
the amazing thing to me in the news cycle
Look at
is
that sine wave.
wow.
Sell.
TD, but TD raised it from 41 to 49 today. Where's 49 on that chart? Way off the chart, right?
Well, you got to get new suckers in. Never been that high, but you got to get new suckers in. You got to raise the price.
Well, another one of the great ironies. Let's talk
That's another
climate
reason.
change.
Another reason to sell.
What is the all-time high?
32.50.
Right on. Yeah, Lee. If you were along this thing and you don't sell that all-time high, there's a special pen that you get put in. Our Trader Pig pen. Trader Pig pen.
Get yourself a pot-bellied pig if you need pigs.
You know how hard that is going to be to eat that pig when 12 meals to anarchy happens. That's why you don't get the pot-bellied pig.
Because you got to eat Wilbur.
Because you're gonna it's gonna be tough.
You got to eat Wilbur.
And listen, everybody, most people's survival instinct will kick in, right? And you will eat the dog. You will eat. I'm sorry, you just will. That's just like Asian families, right?
By the way, we continue to talk about how Tesla, is the Pinto of the 2000s, right? Because there's been like 55 fiery deaths versus 44 for the Pinto and Iacocca. Well,
were there really that many?
Yeah. There's been 50. There's been like the latest numbers was like 56. I just saw it this week. 56 Tesla burn and dies, just like rear end burn and die. 24 on the Pintos. And the Pinto was crushed, like they buried the car, and Iacocca had to create the K car for his comeback. Right?
Yes.
Well, check this out. Another Tesla driver caught napping behind.
Dead asleep, bro.
Napping behind the wheels. Look.
Yo, bro. Somebody call her on the phone. But she's got the auto driving going, right?
That's the whole point.
What the hell, dude? He's dead asleep, bro.
All right, so let me ask you this. So 50 people have died because
55, 56.
Because the self-driving
catches on fire and they're in it.
No, is it a battery that catches fire or they okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. Man,
And, there was 24 Pinto deaths.
Right. Well, this is the world we live in. Nobody gives the human life is valued much less now.
Right. There's no trust. There's no trust.
There is zero trust. But one thing that you can trust is that all of the decision making points to the fact that your life really isn't worth much. Nobody gives a shit. That's just a fact. Those are just the facts.
Right.
Welcome to the new millennia.
But another reason to, enrich and immerse in your family.
It is you're absolutely right about that. That is back to the Vice thing. It's just unbelievable. Like, what kind of world do these people want to, the facts are the facts. Why do they want to? It's amazing that they actually can, with a straight face, first of all, be offended. And then second of all, fight that the facts are the facts, that there's better outcomes with different lifestyles. It's not so hard to understand that. There's better outcomes if you don't smoke. There's better outcomes if you're not obese. There's better outcomes if you have a nuclear family. And I would be even willing to say there's better outcomes even if you just have a two-parent family. Mm-hmm. And so, I don't know, just the outrage. And I saw a couple of things on the fight back here that especially, and I wanted to say this earlier in the broadcast, that this is going to end up becoming a much more fluid argument at the state level. And you're seeing states like Sarah Sanders in Arkansas completely revamping the education system in Arkansas because of the dismal outcomes that students are having. Here we are. Man, we talked about this on the way in. Live at the Phoenix Open, like the softest professional athletes on the planet are golfers and tennis players.
Yes.
The softest. Like
Yeah,
if somebody,
it's you know, here again is the dichotomy of the PGA whining about LIV, yet this event in Phoenix with the 18 to 35-year-old drunk men piling in. There's like 6,000 fans on the 16th hole. You know that there's like 6,000 fans.
yeah,
on one hole.
and you actually have to blow drunk to get in, right?
Yes, and when they pan, oh, Rob, look at that.
Look at that. God, that reminds me of me.
Live looking. I think
Dude, that was a fucking eagle. He chipped in for eagle.
Yeah, I think he's one back now. I think 6, Jason Day, and there might be another guy up there. Day 2 today. Yeah, no, but they dropped back. Everybody's -5 now. It's going to be. I treat this as a major because of the headspace that you need to be in with the drunkenness and the disorderliness of this event. And here's the irony: is this what the LIV, you know, or the PGA, if they want, they could do this every week. If you made it like football, people would come. If you made it so they could scream and heckle and, you know, and wear crazy mascots and costumes like they are at this thing, and they are. Everybody is wearing their thing just to get on TV. They're 5 seconds of fame, right? Look at him as he steps up to the box here. This is Rob. Local kid. He went to ASU, right? Remember in 2014, he was wearing his Rom jersey. He was
Right on.
Music or something.
That'd be cool.
That is so awesome. Again, yeah.
No,
I mean,
look at this. Look at this crowd.
You think about a Major League Baseball.
They've been
player stepping
going
in-
because they had to finish round 1. They've been going since 7 this morning, our time, Pacific, which is 8 o'clock there. They've been drunk.
It's 2 under. That even.
Hold on. I want you to finish, but just listen.
Never won
No,
here.
no, I just like you imagine at a Major League stadium telling everybody to be quiet because the guy's
Right.
up to bat.
Can't do it.
Come on. Tennis also, like you like we need that much concentration that the crowd can interfere.
But I
It's
think
such-
it'll make these guys even better if they can.
For
get used to
sure it
this.
would. Not only that, it would weed out the guys that just have no game inside their head.
Yep.
Zero game.
Look at this.
That is so awesome.
Look at that crowd, dude. Look at that.
Let me tell you something.
That's
If I'm
one
there,
Wow.
the crowd is for sure in danger of dying from my shank shot that's coming.
Because of that great eagle, the adrenaline's
He just
pumping.
had an eagle too.
And you're
Crowd
in
is
this
pumped.
arena, so it's like I want you to play this like a 145 shot. Taking a lot of yardage off of it.
Because he's so pumped. See, the caddy's right there with him. He knows his guy.
It's a veteran caddy knowing his player right there.
Heifer, before the announcer even. Even before the announcer. Come on, hole in one for Market Vitals. Let's go.
His fade. Very nice.
Oh. Nope.
No,
Push.
shanked it.
The beauty is 16.
See, look at these guys.
Right there.
Look.
Oh my God.
Look at the minions
There's got to be puke in the bathroom already, right?
already at 11:30.
Yeah,
That's
there's the
11:30.
prop bet. How many pukes at the 16-hole bathroom? There's a prop bet. Over under on puke.
And then Homa's a local guy too. He's an LA kid, so he's got the West Coast contingent behind him.
By the way, early, nice and cool in the desert.
Oh yeah, they got sweaters on.
Just gorgeous, man. Absolutely gorgeous. You know, I thought I saw interesting too on this was Waste Management is taking all the empty water plastic bottles and they're partnering with a company that's got tech to take.
Oh, this looks
Looks
even
like
better.
Come on,
Oh,
nah, too much juju on it. Too much juju. Anyway, taking the plastic bottles and turning it into wearables for next year's event. You know, let the people figure it out. That's another thing I hate about government. They're going to
Look at
tell
that
us
crowd,
everything.
Bobby. Look at that crowd.
That is insane.
And you got the bleachers. The entire it's an arena. That
Yeah.
whole.
All right, we got to go someday. Someday, just not at 7 a.m. drunk. All right, is that it? Is that all
Well,
we got?
they had to finish yesterday's round because of darkness. I think they had a frost delay in the morning yesterday. So,
Right on.
and something because it was sunny, but they didn't get everybody out there. So they had to finish this morning, and now they had 20 minutes, and they readjusted the the lineup, and you had to go right back out there. But yeah, so Super Bowl, my final pick. I'm going with the Chiefs and the over.
I'm Matt.
I don't even know what the over is, but take it.
Here. Let's go with our usual bet, Mortimer, and I'll take the Eagles, the under, and the heads. A three bet parlay.
Well, what if are we doing them one-on-one, everybody?
No. We're taking each side of the parlay. So a $3 parlay pays what, $21? Was it 7 to 1?
18, probably 6 to 1, something like that.
Now we're gonna play for a $20 bill if
All right.
either side hits. I got the Eagles, the under, and heads.
Yeah.
Right. So right away, one of us is out of the parlay. Like right away.
Right away.
On the coin toss. Right away. It's like fuck.
Yeah.
Already fucking jonered. All right, that's what we got. Thank you very much, Matt. Listen, it's too late right now to order Shrimp Mojo and get it by Sunday. I would imagine. Maybe not. Maybe
if you're in Phoenix.
But if you're in the Bend area, I will send you a dime bag of the pound that I got of Shrimp Mojo. I will sell you a dime bag out of the back porch. Listen, be cool coming in. Like I don't want my neighbors knowing that I'm dealing rub. You just got to be low key on this. All right. Make sure your car has a muffler. Like nothing worse when you're dealing and then the guy's coming to pick up and he's got no muffler. You're like, what the? And then his car.
All those guys driving, all those the 16-year-old boys driving the Subies with the.
Exactly, or the car that backfires.
Yeah.
Shit. You're like, yeah. Here's my drug. Here's my druggie coming to pick up the drugs and nothing to see here. Move along. Another piece of shit car that backfires. You get a lot of visitors. You get a lot of visitors with shitty cars, Bob. Yeah, I know. It's my friends. All right.
Go Mahomes.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Mark. We'll be back Monday for another segment of Market Vitals. Please share and retweet the broadcast. Amazon.com for Shrimp Mojo. Be a dealer. Join our dealer network. That's what we need, a dealer network.
Yeah, don't you have a promo code?
Yeah, dealer network available.
You should get the dealer network promo code. Start talking about that.
Dealer of the week, dealer of the month. Because I tell you what happens. Shrimp Mojo is a gateway spice, right? and that's why it's dangerous. It's a gateway spice, and kids start using Shrimp Mojo, and all of a sudden they got cardamom in the closet. Like what's going on here? Cumin, like what? He's got $100 a week cumin habit. Thanks, Shrimp Mojo. Anyway, that's what we got.
Netflix looks like it's ready to come back a little bit. Thing has been on one heck of a
day. What was the other one that you shared? LYFT. Why don't we leave with LYFT? A lot of people lifting rides in Arizona this weekend, but the stock not so much, right?
Yeah, well, if you want, I can bring it up.
Yeah, bring it up.
It's a good lesson because I think we'll see more of this, right? We've had when all stocks rally because they're oversold, which is what we've been doing, and then you have a truly bad earnings, which hasn't really started happening. You get what happened in LYFT. It's as clear as day, and I think you will see more of these where these retail. This is the only way you can get retail to stop chasing knives and catching bottoms. It's the only way. But look at that, Bob. I mean, geez. went from, $9 up to 1,800% gain there. And the month, again, not a normal move. Anticipating great things in the you need a lift market. Not so fast. That thing gapped down pretty furiously and is trading down here at 10. Full reversal, right back to where it started from.
Wow.
That's mean.
Yeah, that is not playing nice right there.
Yeah, so since I brought up Netflix, I'll just bring it up also because I think it's setting up for. Well, I mean, it's already off 10 today, but this topping pattern that's kind of doming up here. I don't think it's too late. Even I think you can probably buy some, $300 puts in the money, or you can buy or out of the money, or you can buy in the money, 380s, and either way you're going to get paid, I think.
That's just that profile there in particular too. How many times have we seen these where this one actually had a little bit longer time on the throw over, but it's just not able to sustain it. Like they couldn't move it.
Well, I mean, no. Hold on, Bob. I mean, you got to remember it was 150. I mean, it's almost tripled since last May in a year. But all it's done is got back to this congestion zone
right on
where it broke down from. So also, for the same reason I like, and I bought this morning, Baxter. I bought it at 40. It dipped as low as 38. I think if you are a long-term buy and holder, this thing pays 3%. It's better than 0, not quite, 4.5 on the 10-year. But if you want to own, you want to own a stock, this thing gapped on the earnings, and I think it's getting near pretty much the bottom. And we talked about this when I wanted to be short it, and this would be the area I'd want to buy it, right around 38.50, 37.50. Got to 38.50. I'm long at 40. It's 41 right now. So I think tuck this one away for a long time. This is back to 2016 levels. This stock has not traded here in a long time. So it's not going to be quick. This is not a trade for tomorrow. And if it is, and if it goes up 10%, take off half and buy it as it pulls back again, right? There's a way to manage that too. But I think that this looks great for the long-term buy and holder because they're not going away. People are, again, dying to get into this business. If you know what
especially,
I mean.
Matt, when you think about the biggest part of the population is retiring and needing medical services.
Yeah, well, and the just the saline solution they sell alone will keep this company alive forever. So
right,
the fluids.
Right on.
I mean,
we got some fluids on board.
I'm really not kidding.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
It's an annuitized business. They do make money. Bad earnings, right? So all the news is out now. Like this thing can't get much worse, and it's right back into value. So I think if it goes below 35, it goes to 25. So that's kind of your line in the sand. You're only risking 10% kind of to get into this trade. Or you could buy, you buy puts against the stock. You buy the 35s against the long stock, something like that. That protection boxes it in.
And let's not forget the ability to sell the calls too.
Yeah,
going forward, just to harvest, little cash harvesting. Nothing I'm familiar with. I'm a commodity trader. Stocks, they frighten and confuse me. I'm a caveman, but that's the way it is. All right, Matt. Thank you very much. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Mark. We will see you next week. Have a great weekend. Go Eagles. I cannot believe I'm on Jim Cramer's bandwagon for the benefit of my
yeah, but that's not the typical Kramer call because he's a Philly fan, so I can't really hold that against him.
Right, he was just born a Philly fan.
He was just born a Philly fan, so I'm not
right.
I can't.
He's got no sway on the outcome. In other words,
no.
All right. All right, thank you. Thank you. And I apologize for being short with you today, but sometimes, we were reminiscing on Twitter about in the pit, like part of the mentality was ball busting to your benefit, right? Like you could piss off an order filler, and this is counterintuitive. People are like, well, he won't trade with you if you piss him off. But sometimes you get under his skin so much he tries to bury you, right, with his order, and all you want to do is be a participant. So if he's pissed at you and he's looking to bury you, you wanted to buy him or sell him anyway, right? So thank you.
Right.
Now my ball busting has actually got me more of the order flow in the pit, which is what you're looking to do. Counterintuitive.
Sure.
And there are many ways that obviously you can ball bust, but one of them that was used frequently was to change the lyrics of a song to ball bust somebody. And I will share that next week on some of the great lyrics of CME floor and or just taglines, that we used. It was good times, remembering good times on Twitter today. All right, that's it. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Bobby.
Right on.